When I saw you, I would lose control. Made me feel like there was no tomorrow. Should've told you that you're beautiful, but the days pass and now it's so long ago. Did you make it? Did you break free? Did you manage to be who you wanna be? Maybe somewhere you think about me too. I wonder where are you now? Wonder where are you now? Wonder where are you now? Would you know my name? Would you know it? And did you feel the same? Wonder where are you now?
Well, good evening, everybody, from Salt Lake City, live from Salt Lake City, Utah. I am so excited to be here. This is going to be really something special tonight. So, as you come in, I want you to, I'm going to put it up on, I need to do a banner. Wow, I am here for, as you know, maybe you don't, but as you know, hopefully you know, for the Slave Free Project. I need a bill. Yeah. They're still just wrapping up over there. They're going to be coming over here to the suite little by little over the next few minutes. But and I knew it was going to be like that because, you know, the excitement and everything. I just finished up the day, the march and everything. I just wanted to tell you just a little bit about my experience since I landed here in Salt Lake City yesterday. You know, I speak, you guys know my story, and I speak all over the place and I go to a lot of events and things like that. And I thought I knew what I was stepping into by coming here. I knew what I was supporting. I know the mission. I know the problem, the situation in our world, in our country, in each and every one of our states here in the United States, in as much as it pertains to human trafficking. I thought I knew, but I didn't. I really had no idea. I had no idea, and I still don't. I think I've had just a glimpse, a glimmer of what is really the brevity of this situation. Talking to some actual victims of human trafficking, and you're going to hear from a few of those tonight. Actually speaking with people who have gone on these rescue missions and pulled these kids, these girls, these boys, these men out, saved their lives, carried them on their shoulders, took them out of burning buildings, had to shoot at people to get away. All kinds of stories. The parents, and that's the piece that is really missing, in my opinion, along with a bunch of others, but really the parents. I mean, I want you to, somebody said something tonight that was one of the speakers. Imagine when you can't find your phone, the panic you have, when you can't find your car keys and you got to be somewhere. Now imagine if that were your child. Just let that sink in for a second. You know, you can't go to somebody and say, hey, can you call my child? Like you can say, call my phone. You can't go to the key caddy in the kitchen or wherever and grab that spare set of keys. You can't go in a bedroom and grab a spare kid if they've been stolen. And so let me tell you what happened last night. I went out last night, and then we're gonna watch some things, and I'm gonna show you some stats that are that I found in my research regarding these issues. But last night I had the honor of accompanying a young woman you'll meet later tonight, January Reagan. You may have seen if you were watching the live from the park earlier. There was a banner where the DJ was set up. It was hanging over the edge of the table, and it said "Soap to Hope, Not Forgotten." I went out. That's January Reagan's. That's her organization, and she has a street ministry where she goes out 7 days a week practically, and passes out everything from hygiene kits. She has a needle exchange program so that these people out there with addictions don't use dirty needles or share them. Drug testing kits so they can test their drugs to make sure that they're not laced with fentanyl, which is killing people at an alarming rate. She took me out on the streets, drove me past some of the places that she services at other days of the week. And then she took me to a spot last night, whose night, it was their night. And we got out and she gave me a backpack. I was carrying female hygiene products, everything they need, tampons, condoms, all the things that women need out there on the street to survive. A lot of these women are doing sex work. out there. A lot of them are vulnerable. A lot of them are recruited from those places into human trafficking. Now, the irony, I'm sitting in a four-star hotel in what they call the King Tower Suite. And I was, imagine my face last night when two of the victims, um, January Riggin and Amber Lee, who you will meet in just a little bit, they're starting to come in. When they told me, they said, Loren, interesting that you're in that hotel. We were both trafficked out of that very hotel. Now, I was like, huh? This isn't the type of place. Um, let me turn this around to show you. Oh, there's some people. Hi. This isn't traditionally what you would think would be the look of a place that people would be trafficked out of, but it is. Um, the ice cream truck, it is. The corner store, it is. Teen centers, the internet, all kinds of places. We know what we know, but we don't know what we don't know. So tonight, we're going to do everything we can in a short period of time to provide you, all of you, with a few more tools for your toolbox. Because we don't want you or one of your kids or someone you love or anyone for that matter, a stranger that we would never know, we don't want this to happen to them, and we're going to have to do better. So how do we do it? We do it by being a part of this slave-free project and things that are similar. It's all about having the conversation. So I wanted to share with you guys, I took the liberty of looking for some things to kind of give us an idea. Well, you want to see some pictures from last night? Let me show you a couple pictures. And call a friend, phone a friend right now. On my show every day, you guys hear me say with the Bella purpose, and I should have packed it, but I was scared of TSA, anything metal. Um, um, I really believe that each of us has an innate desire to be a part of something greater than ourselves. Now, a lot of people think that means, being in politics or becoming a movie star or perhaps a recording artist or some type of laureate, winning some type of prize or, you know, just high accolades. That's not the only way. Of course, those are ways to be a part of something greater than yourself. But right now, by you sharing this broadcast out, letting people know, who do you know that has teenage kids? Who? Then that's who you need to share this out with. Trust me. You're going to hear things tonight that are going to make the hair on your arms stand up. I promise you that. So you don't want to miss this. So do that now while we're waiting for folks to come in. And I'll show you some pictures from last night's pre-dinner. There's a group right there. And there's some more. That's one of the speakers. These girls are sisters right there, and they're with the CERT Ministries organization, working in the administrative capacity. And there is Pastor Rudy and his wife Lori over there. And we know that guy, Coach Chuck. He's here, always showing up. And oh, there's one of the people that's in the room right now. You'll meet him later, and that's Ben. He'll be here telling you his story. There's Christopher Kaysen, Caramel Caramel. He said we could call them both of those, but Christopher's here. Now, Christopher, you all know Christopher's story. Placed fourth in our competition in its impactor last season, and he drove all the way here. Christopher deals with Asperger's. I don't say suffer anymore. When I first met him, I used to say, let me peek around the corner. I used to say he suffers, but he doesn't suffer. He does not suffer. He deals with it, and he drove all the way and will drive all the way back to Northwest Indiana tomorrow to come and support. Again, being a part of something greater than himself. Boy, do I wish I had my Bella purpose. Bing! I would hit it right now. So listen, I'm going to do that. I'm just going to be the vocal bell of purpose tonight. When you hear me say ding, that means that whoever's in this chair right here has said something that is a humdinger. Woo woo. Can I get an amen? They're dropping off. We need to pick it up. Okay, so get on the horn. This is like you do it for Jerry Lewis telethons back in the day. Some of you are old enough to have sent some money in to Tammy Faye and Jim Baker. You know you did it. At least you sat by grandmama while she did it. I know I did. Anyway, what I'm saying is we get it out there when we want to. I bet you right now, if I said for the first person that gets 25 people to lock in on this broadcast, I'm going to give you $500 cash. Right. Every single one of you would get 25 people. You'd be on the phone, walking down the street. This is more important than any type of money. Okay. So I'm asking you to get on your phone right now, get on your device, share this out, get people over here. Now look at this. Here's what we're dealing with. I'm going to show you some photos. Here's something. This is a banner. It says, does this look like a foreign problem to you? Absolutely not. In California, and now look at those dates. That was back in '05 and '07, '07, '07, '07, '08. This is 2020. Do you know how much these numbers have increased since then? Look what they're saying in California, 559 potential victims. I don't even see that word anywhere in current stats. Potential. Potential isn't even a part of it anymore. 559, add a few zeros, and you might start to get close. So I put that up there so that we could see the problem is growing faster than we are solving it. And you know why? Because the traffickers, the pimps, the panderers, they don't take weekends, holidays off. For them, this is not a shared custody agreement. They work all day, every day. And we have to do at least that if we're going to save lives. Okay? So I want you to take this next look at this next slide. Trafficking into the U.S. between 14,500 and 17,500 human beings. Let that sit in there for a second. Human beings. We're not talking about our German shepherds. We're not talking about kiwi fruit. None of that. Bitcoin, none of it. Human frigging beings trafficked into the United States annually. And they don't have a date on this one, but I can almost certainly tell you that this number has increased way beyond what's on the screen. So, and then that's another thing. I couldn't find any current stats. This is all there was. You don't believe me? Google it. Google human trafficking stat, and you're going to get exactly what I'm showing you. What's up with that? Ding. Okay, so let's take a look at the last one. Trafficking numbers. Human trafficking in our backyard. These are the facts. And this is put out by inourBackyard.org. And they're really, I really spent some time looking in there today. They seem to have it going on. So I would suggest you take a look at their site. These are the facts. 365 days a year is happening. Told you, $150 billion business. We're always bitching and complaining about the cosmetic people, how much the pharmaceutical people. When was the last time you heard somebody say, and those damn traffickers, those human traffickers, can you believe it? $150 billion. Well, it's time for that to start coming out of your mouth. Thing. And 12 to 14 years old is the average age of a trafficked female. Right now, who in your family, who do you love that's 12 to 14 years old? I immediately go to my nieces, Isabel, Emma, Legend, Lennox, India. Now, what if I think just for a second, what it would be like for me to get the phone call from one of my nieces, nephews, sisters, or brothers saying that one of those names I just called out was missing. Speak it. Speak 5 names that fall into that category in your world. Speak it. Don't think it. Don't go. Speak their name. I dare you to speak their name and then look back at these numbers. Those 12 to 14-year-olds that are going, do you think this time last year, the ones that were missing up to an hour ago, do you think their families thought that they would be in the positions that they're in today? They didn't. Don't wait until it comes knocking on your door. Second largest, fastest growing criminal enterprise in the world. I'd be interested to know what the first one is. Drugs. And we all know that. That's not a surprise. But are you not surprised about everything else you see going on the screen right now as far as these numbers? If not you, I can certainly admit it. I'll raise my hand. Bing, I do. I'm very surprised. And I'm more than surprised. I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm ashamed. How about you? Seriously. These are people. These are children. You guys know my story. 22 homes in the foster system. And that's nothing. I know kids that I mentor. I know kids that have spoken on my stages at the Power We Symposium that have had 4 or 5 times that many beds. In every home, we call a bed because you slept in a bed in each one of those homes. And when I listen to the stories of the people that I listen to since I've been here in Salt Lake City, the people that have gone through this, it makes me, oh, I'm like, dang. I know I went through something, but compared to that, but again, each of us is only given what we can handle. So these are warriors. These people that come back and tell us the story of what's going on inside of there, we really need to listen. We need to take everything they have to offer to get inside the head of those crazy people that are doing this. Dismantle, disrupt, and disassemble everything they're doing. There's no way that this should be the second largest, fastest growing business in the world. And don't look over there, Capitol Hill. Don't look over there to whomever else you can point your finger. Find yourself. This is January. It's time I'm on the air. Can you? I want you to look in a mirror, like I tell you to do every day when you want to see the first blessing of the day. It's the same thing. When you want to find out who needs to be doing something, from now on, since this trip for me, I'm going to be looking at Loren. How about you? Good. Ding, ringing the bell. So I have someone that I can get in here. I met him. Well, I've known him over the internet and whatnot. Thank you. For a while, and we were at the dinner last night, and he's going to come in and tell us what brought him here, why this is important to him. And Ben Peterson, and that's with the D, Pedersen.
P-E-T.
It is the T.
It's a T.
Oh, who knew? Oh, I have something for that. I can put that up on the screen. So, Ben, come on in and have a seat. And welcome to the live broadcast. Good to see you.
It's good to see you, my friend.
Don't look at the light. You'll see spots for a long time. So I have my little portable light square. It's not the ring that I usually broadcast with. But anyway, so Ben, say hello to everybody. Tell us a little bit about.
Perfect people.
Yeah, that's right. You are perfect.
Everyone.
Tell us who you are, where you're from, and what brought you here. What are you doing here in Salt Lake City at this event today?
My name is Ben Peterson. I was born and raised here in Utah, and love this state. Jason Cisneros brought me out here. I've known him since 2008 for 12 years. And ever since he started following and connecting with Pastor Rudy. Pastor Rudy is amazing. And you know how it is when you meet people. When I met you, even online, there's this connection, this huge connection. And you find your purpose and you know there's certain things you have to do. That's how it was with Pastor Rudy as I connected with him. And I've been able to consistently donate. That's what I've been able to do at this time, help support their cause. And it is so amazing. I believe, like you do, that we need to start kind of at a grassroots level, and where Ben Peterson, what can I do to really make a difference in this world and fulfill my purpose in a unique way? Only I can do that. And so with that, it's donating to Pastor Rudy. And there's some other giving causes that I donate to, but that one is very special to me, just from some personal things in my life.
Right.
And
so let me ask you, before you met Pastor Rudy and the Certain Ministry team, what did you think you knew about this issue? Because I can't even call it a problem. It's far worse than a problem. So I'm gonna try to keep. I don't know. I have to look. Give me some time to come up with a good one for this thing. That's what it is. The thing, an anomaly. What did you think you knew about this that you now know differently?
You hear about trafficking, and I consider myself being asleep for almost 43 years, going through my life, and you have your family and your kids and your why. And, there was always a tender spot in my heart whenever I'd watch, a Dateline or any of these different shows that would focus on this. My blood would boil, and I wanted to jump through that screen and save every child. I wanted to be the hero saving everyone. And I knew it was a problem, but I never knew that it was a problem in so many levels, from, like you said, being trafficked out of a beautiful hotel like this, up to the highest levels of whatever organization you want to say. It's
right.
It's infiltrated every part of our society, and I did not know that.
You
And
didn't know that.
not knowing that, now I do. I can't sit still and not do so. I have to be responsible for what I can do in a unique way that only I can do.
Absolutely. Man, I wish I'd have packed my bell of purpose. My dinging finger is itching over here, people. So listen, I want to ask you something. We're gonna get through a lot of people tonight, but I'm gonna ask this question. Oh, it's my husband. Hold on, everybody. Hi, honey. I'm on the broadcast, but you're live. Oh, I told you, honey. Quit calling me that. That's my earthly name, especially in front of people. Hey, I'll call you back as soon as we're done. I love you. Okay. That's all right. Bye.
It just sees you who you really are.
I know. Well, you know, Brian is a part of my broadcast every day and how he walks back and forth. People, the screen gets really hot when he walks. Like, hi, Brian. Hi, Brian. So I'm used to it. So anyway, this is the question. I've been pondering this question since I got home here last night from being on the streets with January and Amber. Because I'll tell you something, and it's the truth. I told my husband this morning. I didn't get to sleep. I got here at midnight. I didn't get to sleep until 3:34 because I sat here and I was like, have I really even done anything? Seriously, because when you get up close and personal, people, you guys know what I'm talking about. And I always tell you guys, it's not about, you guys know this. When you see me on my show, see all the stuff like there's People Magazine and magazine covers and all these different awards and stuff. And I tell you, it's not, those things aren't hanging there to remind, oh, look what you've done. No, those things are there to show me the empty spaces on my wall because that's the work I still need to do. Right now, just like I told you to speak those names of those 12 to 14-year-old girls you know and love. Don't think about it. Don't just glance over to the mantle for the little 8th grade picture. Speak their names. I dare you. I challenge you to speak their names. And I also challenge you right now to look at the blank spaces in your room, wherever you're at right now. What could be hanging there? What picture, what photo? I'm taking photos home from today. And even if I don't have the actual photos, I cannot unsee what I've already seen. I cannot unhear what I've already heard. I challenge each of you to listen for those things that people don't want to hear. Look for those things people refuse to see. Then, and only then, will we begin. So here's the question. If from what you've experienced, from all of your donating and the philanthropy piece, and everyone should do what they can do. What we have in this world is what I call a modern day stone soup experience. You can bring whatever it is you have, just throw it in, and we can all feast. So I want you to tell us, if you could, look at the camera right there, and tell everyone what one thing from this experience has changed your life forever.
The stories from the women and the men that got up and spoke today, and
Ding.
the challenges and certainty and just the soul that I could feel from them, and the triumph, the redemption, the work that they've rediscovered just gives me hope. It it changes you each day, but to hear them absolutely inspires me to be the best version of the best person.
There you go. That is something everybody should have. That's the front desk.
Our popular man.
Hold on. Say hi to them for a minute. Hi, front desk.
Hey, everybody. Hope you can feel the words that Loren's speaking. One of the most amazing humans that I've met. And just implement one.
No, it's no. No. I already talked to them about it.
Have the most valuable.
Yeah, your manager, and I'm actually on my live stream.
You could ever experience.
As long as you're not filming, and as long as you're not photographing, and I'm doing neither. Okay.
So do what he said. Think of those children.
No, I'm in the middle of it right now. We're out in front of the really say hello, Nathan. They hear you. Okay.
Find them.
Okay.
And love each person that way. If we all did that, then there wouldn't be one child that would be missing at this moment.
Now, let me just butt in. And you all think that's just an arbitrary phone call, right? But if any of you that follow me, read my books, heard me on stage, watch my show, you know I don't even go there. I don't play that shit for real. I don't look at anything like it was arbitrary. Everything is purposeful. Everything I do for the team I play for, and everything that tries to get thrown in from the other side. That right there, I already cleared the stuff with management. But what the force behind the people that I said earlier when we saw those numbers, second growing criminal enterprise business in the world, and they don't take any time off. You see, he doesn't know what he's doing, but nonetheless, I know Cletus when I see him. Walk over here, and back. So that's the attitude. And where's my bell? Ding. So listen, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I love you. Thank you.
Love you too. And we'll be back. I am going to shoot to commercial so I can find out who's next. But again, I'm going to challenge you. Be a part of something greater than yourself. You might wake up tomorrow living in an entirely different person. Think about what I just said to you. That's what it takes. Risk. Think about it. We'll be right back.
When I saw you, I would lose control. Made me feel like there was no tomorrow. Should've told you that you're beautiful, but the days pass and now it's so long ago. Did you make it? Did you break free? Did you manage to be who you wanna be? Maybe somewhere you think about me too. I wonder where are you now? Wonder where are you now? Wonder where are you now? Would you know my name? Would you know it then? Did you feel the same? Wonder where are you now?
Hey, we're back. You guys, you know what? Let me just tell you something. Just because I'm in Utah, don't think that just lets me off hook from senior moments. Thing. Yes, I played the same commercial twice. I did it. Maybe whatever. So anyway, listen, before John Duffy comes on to tell you his take on what's going on with and why he's here, let's take a look at I have a few clips. We're just gonna watch a couple minutes from the various ones as we move through the 90 minutes tonight. But I wanted you to see how I find it very interesting. I found some pieces that that just like the images that I showed you that were so old. Well, these are clips from different places around our country, Las Vegas, New Orleans, and so on and so forth. And it's funny to me how they each say, we're the home base of it. The home base is wherever they snatch a kid. The greatest place on earth with the worst problem is the last place that they snatched a kid. If it's Poughkeepsie, is that a place? Okay, Poughkeepsie, Caramel, wherever. That's the worst place. That's the place where something needs to happen yesterday. So take a look at this, and then we're going to come back and talk to my friend John Duffy right here. Bear with me. Okay, here we go. We can watch with them. So what you're seeing on the screen is an actual hidden camera in a parking lot in broad daylight. and someone being trafficked. And the reason is because I always imagine nighttime, dark alleys, seedy hotels, not like I said, like when the two girls you're going to hear from tonight, traffic from this very hotel, and I showed you the room. And I'm hoping that tonight we can do a little bit to condition your mindset to think outside of the box, because that's how they're doing this, right under our noses. So you see that right there? In and out, grab somebody, boom. Okay, just that fast. Now, again, I'm going to keep saying this. Broken record, I don't care. I've been called worse. I'm going to say this. There are those of you who think you know what this is. You really think I did, but you don't. So I'm going to keep saying this throughout the night. I want each of you at least twice tonight, say their names, speak their names while they're still alive and in your world. Speak the names of 5, 12 to 14-year-old girls that you care about. Speak their names and then call their parents. Share this broadcast. Send a recording of it tomorrow. Do whatever you need to do. I don't care where you get it. Like Olita Adams said, get here if you can. Okay? Do that for me, won't you? John Duffy, how are you?
Very good. How are you doing, brother?
Good. Long time no see. I think the last time I saw you was at my event
In Chicago.
Oh, wait a minute. You didn't come to Atlanta?
No, I didn't.
Next. I'm just
I'm
kidding.
out
I'm
of
kidding.
here.
I'm kidding.
How
I'm
quick
kidding.
they get rid of us.
No, I'm kidding. I'm so good to see you. Do you live in the area?
No, I'm in California, Santa Monica.
So you came from Santa Monica specifically to be here today.
100%.
Why?
Mainly to support, Jason Cisneros and because what he's doing. This is guy. Is Jason? Is it?
Anyway. Never miss a chance.
You don't. That's why I came to Chicago. That's why I got to meet you.
Right.
Man.
Right. So I do. Oh,
So
good one. Okay.
So, but basically, I heard about this project, and like you were saying, I don't really know about all this.
That's why Christopher Case. I'm sorry. That's why Christopher Case came in fourth in the next Impactor. He found a bell. Oh, yay! Okay. Thank you, Christopher. I love you. Okay.
Sound effects by Christopher.
Right. It's just part of me. It is. I didn't realize how much. So tell me, John, I'm asking everybody the same sets of questions.
Sure.
First of all, before you became involved with Pastor Rudy and Jason and the CERT team and the Slave Free Project, what did you think how much on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being a lot, how much did you think you knew about the real face of human trafficking?
1.
Most people would have lied and said 6 or 7. I'm just saying I would. So where is that on the scale now?
I'm going to say it's probably 7 now. I'm still learning.
Okay, so with that 7, that's power. That you came 6 degrees just in a day. What are you going to do to take it to 10?
Well, just like what Pastor Rudy said tonight, it was some powerful speeches given at the event. Pastor Rudy was just talking about the Slave Free Project. Not everybody has the background to go in and do the rescues.
Correct.
But everybody can get in and spread the word. I work in Hollywood. I work as a producer. I do film. And there's no ding on that one. We don't get a ding.
Anyway,
at least I thought I would get a ding.
Well, I didn't want to be like obvious, but okay. Just put me out on Front Street, John. Okay. So what are you going to do?
So once again, just finding a way to, and I don't know, to be honest with you, I met Pastor Rudy through Jason within about a year ago and his family, and just got educated and got impressed by that there's people out in this world who care enough that they're willing to go out there for people who are lost and risk and do that. And that's the best of the best to me.
Absolutely.
They're the best of the best. So what can I do to support it? We're going to find out. I mean, I'm going to throw something off that, but I'm going to talk to them and see what I can do to support it.
Can I get a promise?
Yeah, you can get a promise, bro.
Okay. Good enough. John Duffy, thank you so much. Thank you. And we'll be looking for you on the next one.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much.
All right.
You guys, listen, if you've just joined in or been under a rock, I don't know where you've been. Welcome to, as you see on the screen, live from Salt Lake City. And I'm your host, Loren Michaels Harris. And it's not Bathrobe moments. It's way more important. Seriously, we're here today supporting the Slave Free Project. You see it up in the corner. You've seen promos all month long. So tonight, after today's festivities, you get to hear from And you can talk. I see we've got some comment. Ooh, a whole bunch of and I'll get to these eventually. Look at them all. Okay. So Kimberly, Sherry, Amber, Nick, January, you're supposed to be up here. Anyway, yeah. Oh, my bell, Christopher. So anyway, I'm going to be cutting back and forth. We're going to take a look at some stuff on the screen. We're going to talk to a lot of people. Thank you. And I want you guys to remember these numbers, these old numbers. I want you each to challenge. I challenge each of you to, when tomorrow or tonight later, Google human trafficking data, current, and you're going to see you can't find stuff. It's all old. 2007, 2004. This is 2020, nearly 2021. What's wrong with that picture? Now, I'll tell you what, people bitch and complain about fake news. I want to know about the missing news. What's up with that? So if they're not going to report it, we will. So when we come back, we're going to go and let you, this is the last night of this. So I'm going to shove this video down your proverbial throats tonight. Why? Because every image in there, every word in there, every message that it does, that it resonates with your soul, if that's what I'll be the bad guy. Listen, stay put, call a friend. You don't want to miss it. Be a part of something greater than yourself. Be the blessing by sharing the blessing. I'll see you in 60 seconds. Call.
When I saw you, I would lose control. Made me feel like there was no tomorrow. Should've told you that you're beautiful, but the days pass and now it's so long ago. Did you make it? Did you break free? Did you manage to be who you wanna be? Maybe somewhere you think about me too. I wonder where are you now? Wonder where are you now? Wonder where are you now? Would you know my name? Would you know it and did you feel the same? Wonder where are you now?
Okay, we're back. Yes, I know. I know you thought, Loren, you let your hair down. No, it's not me. I'm over here.
You could.
This is Amy. Amy Ellis, nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you.
Welcome to the broadcast. Now, listen up, you guys. This is if you got some Jiffy Pop on the stove or something, let it burn. You're not going to want to miss this. Now, Amy has a daughter who we will refer to affectionately tonight for anonymity purposes and privacy purposes as S. So, I want you to tell everybody. I'm going to shut up and let you talk about what happened with you and your daughter, but I really want to hear the part that we never get to hear, and that's from parents.
Yeah.
And what's it like? Because I was saying to people earlier, I know I've gone nuts when I can't find my phone, my keys, but you can't go in another room and get another kid to replace the one. You can't go and say, call my kid, like you can't call my phone to find it. So tell us about it. And if you can, what was that? Do you remember that day? I know, stupid question,
Yeah.
right?
So
I don't know what I'm doing. I love it. So tell us, go ahead. Thank you.
So I think where I come in and I can add a little bit of, I don't know, help for this cause or fight in this cause is that I do know the dark side. I know the side of a survivor. And so that's where I feel like I can come in and really fight against human trafficking. And I can tell you as a parent, the only thing that I can attribute the pain to is literally, I felt like I was being crucified. I literally felt like my skin was falling off. Like I could not even control my body. They say that everybody knows that the worst thing that can ever happen to you is having a missing child. And I never thought that I would experience that, and I experienced it, and it was so painful. And a story pops into my head while she was missing. I remember my husband posted a post, and he just said, "We are coming into the night, and we're realizing the night is our worst nightmare." And we would lay in bed, and the sounds that would come out of my body, I can't even describe it. I would just howl all night long. I couldn't even control it. he would just wrap his arms around me and he would literally say, I don't know if we're going to survive this. I honestly don't know if we're going to survive this, but we're going to just go one moment to moment. And my heart breaks because our case, we were blessed. Our case turned out where we were able to rescue my daughter, but the majority of cases that does not happen for. And, you know, there are parents, and I've met many of them that have, it's been 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and they've have a missing child. I cannot even, the pain is, I cannot even describe the pain. And so I think from a parent's side, one thing that I learned that's just so vivid in my head is before this happened, I was kind of a robot parent. I went through the motions. I, you know, dropped the kids off at school and I pick them up and I bring them home. And I think I was a good mom, but I wasn't as present as I needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then something like this happens and you realize there is just nothing else that matters. Just love your people, love your kids, love your spouse, love your life every day, because these babies need love just every second.
Absolutely.
And so,
Amy,
yeah.
let me ask you something. Because there's during, and there's post to everything.
Yeah.
So before, you were like most parents.
Yeah.
This is life. It's just the way it is. Like all of us with the pandemic.
Yeah.
You know, we woke up one day and was like, what? And I remember my husband and I were sitting there, we were like, this will be over in a week.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I am not wasting money on some gloves.
Yeah.
Right? You see me on eBay. Right? You guys remember when I was out in the parking lot at 5 in the morning trying to get toilet paper? You remember. So I want to ask you, so you know you were just a regular parent then, but enduring. Did you blame yourself? And do you still in a little bit? Are you past that now? Because
no, so trauma is, I had never gone through a trauma like this. It's an interesting thing. I am a really strong person. So I thought, oh, this will be over. She's home. I'll be done with this in, I don't know, a month. Sounds like a good time for me to heal. I didn't realize that trauma was like this. And now we're going 3.5 years. And I feel like we go through periods where it's even worse than it was a year after. So yeah, our whole family blamed ourselves, but we also are very realistic. And so we talk to each other and I talk to myself, and I know that it wasn't my fault.
right.
What happened to her, but I also know that I could do things better, and
Right.
I now do those things better.
But I say it's our fault.
Yeah.
It's those of us, because I told you, you know, one thing about these people that perpetrate this is that they don't take any time off. They're not off on weekends and holidays, and it's not a shared custody agreement.
Yeah.
You know, they're on it all day, every day.
Well, I was just talking to my friend in the FBI, and she was telling me it is right now because of COVID. It is worse. It's 40% higher, and it's because people need money. They're out of money. Dance time.
I know. Oh, okay. That's because beauty's in the scene. And you too. I'm just kidding. I know you guys stop. They're like, don't get mean to her. I'm not. She's not. You're used to it, right? Let me ask you this, and then we're gonna, because I want you to know. I want people to know. You know, there's 24 hours in every day, but when your daughter was missing, and how long was she missing?
Just over a month.
How many hours did it feel to you in a day?
I don't think we didn't sleep. I don't think we ever slept. We lived on coffee the entire month and a half. It was
So she was gone a month and a half.
It was, I just cannot even express. It was like the worst movie that you've ever seen. And It was real life. It was horrible. But, you know, our case turned out amazing. And so now that's my mission. I just want to help other families and kids and minors.
Absolutely.
They deserve for us to.
Well, here's what I want to give you, okay? Because you guys know about my Scarlet Letter. I wore it for 5 decades. I did. And it wasn't until the day that I gave it away. I reinvented blame. And I blamed all my abusers, and I blamed my addiction, and I blamed the broken foster system. I blamed my mother for giving me away. But I reinvented blame because I thanked them all, because one gave me a voice to testify before Congress. One gave me a voice to do this, and one gave me power to do that. And you know what? I want you to know that you are here and what you're doing had to be this way. And I know you're going like, yeah, but it's done.
Yeah.
So now you take your power and you save lives with it.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
and I just want to know, what's it like now? Last question. What's it like now? Are you afraid to let her go with friends, or what was it like to try to loosen the reins? Because you think, 2 minutes late, I'd be like, hell no.
Yeah.
I'd be out there in a helicopter with the.
Yeah.
How do you deal with it?
I think time has healed some. And right when this happened, I didn't have to do that. It was, she naturally was afraid to be out. She naturally was doing, keeping herself. We actually tried to pull her out and to do fun things. And so, but I think time heals a lot. And so now every month that goes by, she becomes a little bit stronger and sure of herself and sure of her environment, and that she's in a safe place.
Do you believe in healing?
I do. I feel like we're on the path. I feel like some days we are in the depths, and then the next day that we feel like we're on top of the mountain. So
healing never ends.
Yeah.
Because even though when we
Don't tell
heal,
me that.
it doesn't. No, and it's good news. It never ends because you heal and you touch another life.
Yeah.
And then they heal and then they touch another life and another life and another life. And I want you to know, it's a beautiful thing. I know that God does not create mistakes. They're merely blessings that are becoming.
Yeah. I honestly, I look back at this situation and I do feel a little bit of, I feel lucky that my eyes have been opened to a lot of things, that I survived and that my eyes were open to this. I don't think, I think a lot of us, we can't think about it if we don't know about it. You have to learn about it,
Sure.
And so I was the kind of person, I lived in this fake reality kind of where I just thought everybody was good and just in this weird reality. And then I realized, it's not, it's not as rainbowy and puppy doggy as I thought. And I'm really thankful that I'm the right person to speak up.
You are the right person. So I'm going to challenge you right now. You guys know where I'm going. You saw me do the air quotes where that Steve was in the room, right? I want to ask you if you will do me a favor.
Absolutely.
And just consider replacing the term lucky with blessed. Can you do that? Can you try to do that for me?
Yeah.
Because trust me, luck had nothing to do. Luck had its eye on your daughter.
Right.
Every moment that she was away from you.
I one last thing. I think it's amazing how the right people at the right time. I don't know if our situation would have ended up the way that it did if every single person in it was perfect and it was a miracle. It just really was a miracle.
It was a miracle.
Yes,
it was.
The right people were there.
And and that's how it is with all of us. You guys know this, that no matter what it looks like on the outside, when you get to the other side, you will see clearly if you believe that every person was chosen to play a specific role in that part of your journey. And that's that. Listen, thank you. Can I get a hug? Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you so much. You guys, I'm going to cut to commercial real quick. When we come back. Yes, it is. Pastor Rudy. So don't go away.
When I saw you, I would lose control. Made me feel like there was no tomorrow. Should've told you that you're beautiful, but the days pass and now it's so long ago. Did you make it? Did you break free? Did you manage to be who you wanna be? Maybe somewhere you think about me too. I wonder where are you now? Wonder where are you now? Wonder where are you now? Would you know my name? Would you know it? Did you feel the same? Wonder where are you now?
Okay, we're back. Hi. I should say it. Yeah, you could. Oh, wait. Did you feel like you were something? Pastor Rudy's here, you guys. Pastor Rudy, if you were tuning in to some of the multiple lives that were out there today. Hopefully you caught his time on the podium today. And CERT Ministries, I want to ask you first, before we get into CERT Ministries and the Slave Free Project, tell me about, in my notes, it's called, hold on, oh, here it is. It's called the When and If Ranch.
Yeah.
I find that name very intriguing. Yeah, talk about that for a second.
So when I was 16 years old, I sent myself to boarding school back east. And what I found was that at the boarding school, there was a schooner. It was a sailboat that had been donated by General Patton's wife. And this sailboat had been commissioned by General Patton himself because he told his wife, when and if I return from the war, we'll sail around the world.
Okay.
But he never returned. And so I always thought that that was an interesting name.
Mm.
And when we ended up getting the ranch, I wanted to call it the When and If Ranch because when and if we return from the mission field, when and if we find your child, when and if you get rescued, when and if all of these things happen, you'll have a place to rest and rebuild, to train, to get ready and go.
Now, military. Yep. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Then you became law enforcement.
Yep.
Then you walked away from that.
Yep.
And then, so was your mom like, damn, are you ever going to settle on something? You know what I mean? Right.
Yeah.
You know, and I say that in a joking manner, but there's a real key in there. If you guys just really listen to it for a second, because it ties into what's known as a calling.
Sure.
And I think you know what that means. Right?
Yeah.
So tell us about what you do in the ministry and how it got to CERT Ministries.
Sure.
Because it wasn't always CERT. And then what weren't you afraid or a little hesitant to attach CERT to ministries? A lot of people would think that those two don't go together.
Right. Well, when I first became a pastor, and the way that I became a pastor was by people looking at me and calling me pastor. So when I first found the Lord, it was like I would preach to a phone bowl, like a telephone pole that would stay there long enough. I just wanted to share what was happening in my life, which was so important. And I started leading people out on the street, and they started calling me pastor. And people were telling me, you need to have a church. If you're a pastor, where's your church? And so I started to pray about that. And when I said, what kind of church would you have me have? The Lord said, go where the church isn't. And so that was really important to me because I'm not the frosted hair, tip, skinny jeans type of guy. And going where the church.
Hold on.
So,
You know, I may not have 20/20 vision, but I know frosted hair when I see it.
that's right. Just not on my head.
I'm like, okay, pastor.
So it was definitely going where the church wasn't. And we found that to be in the place where people are being trafficked.
Right.
Because who's gonna preach to the prostituted? We don't call people prostitutes anymore. They're princesses. Because we want to see them on the other side of their situation. But who's gonna preach to the pimp? And I was super humbled because the very first girl that we ever helped get rescued, when we asked her how could we do things better, she looked at us and it was a defining moment in our ministry because she said, if you can go preach Jesus to the Johns and the Tricks. Now, this was a woman that had been brutalized for 15 years. She had just been rescued the night before. Her comment, and I don't like sharing too many stories, but her situation was she said she didn't remember the last time she was allowed to wear underwear. This woman looked at me in the eyes and said, if you can preach Jesus to the Johns and the Tricks, then maybe they won't hurt girls like me.
That's
And
a good
so
point.
what we found that we have to have a love for everyone. And for everyone, those are people brutalize and hurt others because hurt people hurt people. And if we can get them to turn their situation around, and there is justice in love.
Right.
You know, that's one thing that we can't ever forget because it's not a weakness. Love is not a weakness. It's the greatest strength we have.
Yes.
And if we can,
Christopher, I need my bell. I tried to think myself.
It's okay.
But go ahead.
But if we can take and make our, change love into action, then we see people's lives change for eternity. And the victimizers, who most likely at one point were victims, no longer go on and they don't prey on other people. So we see that change and a lot of things turn out in a different way.
I want to bring up something because right now out there, I know that there are those of you who are watching and you're like, oh, isn't that great? They're doing this thing. And you're thinking, yeah, there's all these people that get involved, but I can't because, and Pastor Rudy's sitting there, and you said something earlier out there. I know I lived it, and I know a lot of you have too, and a lot of people won't admit it because they think they'll be like, you were angry with God. You hated God. Yes, indeed, I did. So much so, I went to the top of a building in Hollywood in a robe, naked, and I had 70-some names that I found for God, and I yelled them all out. And I was pissed, and I gave him 1 year to prove himself to me. And you know what I found out at the end of that year was that it was okay for me to be angry because I believe God would rather you do something, nothing. Say come as you are. So it's okay to be angry. So I wanted you to talk about people out there who think, well, yeah, I don't like trafficking, but I ain't into God. He and I, we ain't got it like that. I don't play with him like that no more. But you can get past that by doing something like this. So could you just, because when I had notes the other, still from when I thought you were going to come on the Bathrobe Moments and you were traveling, you guys have interns in operations assistant, intel and logistics, wolf hunter. That one I tried to figure out. I couldn't. I don't know what that is. You guys tell it. Resource support and hospitality, administrative secretaries, and the girls, the sisters. I saw today when they got up and spoke. They're not secretaries, they're not administrators. They are warriors. They are life changers. And so for people who are looking for a way to be a part of something greater than themselves, and maybe something that I just listed is up their alley, what should they do to reach out to learn more about certain ministries?
Well, that's the cool thing is certain ministries is very specific, and there isn't a place for everyone. And that's the sad thing about what we currently do, because it is, like you said, my girls, I mean, one of them, dispatcher, former law enforcement dispatcher. The other one is an executive protection agent. I mean, they have a background of experience that allows them to work specifically in this niche. And so when we first started praying about this, is we wanted other people to be involved, right? Because this is a hard thing that we do. We've changed and left everything in our life. At one point, we gave up our house, opened up our doors, gave away everything for free because this was a calling on our life. And so,
What about that watch?
this watch right
Yeah,
here,
you give that away?
I give away. You want?
Yeah.
It's good.
I'm kidding. Okay, I just tried. Hey, if you were sitting here, you'd have tried it too. So you wouldn't.
This is the thing. This is the thing is that a good friend of mine, he was so impacted by trafficking, he had a different calling though. And he said to me, and he said to my wife, he said, this may not be your greatest calling. And that's a very important thing to say because this may not be your greatest calling, but it should be everyone's calling, right? When a child goes missing, I feel the world should stop. It should stop.
Because it does for the family.
Now, not everybody knows how to carry a gun or even use a gun, right? There's not everybody that has the skill set that my daughter does to be able to organize chaos. That's a great title for her. Instead of a ops chief, she should be chaos coordinator, right? Because she's got all these crazy former cops and special operators that she's able to control and get out there. But if it's not your greatest calling, and let's say you are in a world of how can I help, that's where the Slave Free Project comes in. Because what the Slave Free Project is going to do is it's going to have a place for everyone.
Right.
It's good if you're a real estate agent or a bank teller or a just anything. Like let's say you sell widgets. It doesn't matter. There's going to be an opportunity for you to stop and act in your lane, and not to have to give up your entire life, but stop and think, how can I help find this child? How can I help, rescue this child?
Right. I get that. I'm gonna, and you're gonna learn this about me when I've moved to the next thing in my head. I'm like, wow, should I really ask that? So I did hear you. I think your lips were moving. So because I gotta know. This is a very selfish question. I'm gonna keep it real. It's a very selfish question because you remind me of like when I went back and found my savior, my caseworker, the one who told me in home number 4 that if anything is ever wrong, and you can't tell me because I know how they are. Just squeeze my hand twice when I'm always walk me to my car and just look up at me and squeeze my hand twice if you want me to come back that day and get you. And when I went and when she came into my life, she had been out of college for 3 weeks. And then when I went back, circled back around and found her, she had been retired for 3 weeks. And she said to me, she said, Loren, I'm so grateful to you for coming back because there's always those ones that you wonder what happened to them. And I want to ask you that question. Do you ever, in that place, which I call hallowed ground, that place where when we're going to sleep and we're not quite there yet, but also when we're waking up and we're not quite there yet, it's a very special place for a lot of people where we commune our deepest secrets and fears and desires with what we believe to be greater than us. And do you ever is there ever a place where you go with all this work you've done, because there are kids that you can't find. How does that feel? Does it feel like, because everybody wants to say, oh, that's a failure, or the one that got away, or whatever. Where does it go in your mind? Where do you file that?
So it's kind of an interesting thing because we don't have that. I can't say that we haven't found them because we never stop looking. So
that's really good.
It's one of those where we won't stop. We're not going to stop. People ask what's your success rate, and I tell them 100%. Because that's not what it is. It's not the rescue is different for everyone. And what we have to stop doing, and I think we're on a nation right now where we're creating new words and new definitions. But I want to stop defining rescue on my terms and allow the victim to define that and what that means, because it's so different for each person. It's not always us kicking in the door and bringing this person out. It can be them finally having freedom in their situation by knowing their worth.
Right.
Like if you're around me at any time, I'm going to preach this over and over and over again. Because that's truly the freedom. Is once you understand your worth, you can never be held captive.
That's
Even
true.
if somebody comes and physically takes you and locks you in a room, if you know your worth, you're not truly in bondage. I mean, you look at Paul in the Bible, some of his freest moments was when he was in bondage, because that's where he found freedom to be able to preach and say different things, and other people got to find freedom through that. So even if somebody were to take you and think that they're abusing you or doing any of these type of things, if you know who you are, and I'm going to say this, in Christ, then there's nothing anybody can do to damage you. And there's a power and authority that comes over that now, like it can be with COVID. It could be, I was in Liberia during Ebola. Like for me, what I believe is that like even Ebola, if I come in the name of Jesus, Ebola should be afraid of me. Right? I've stood with my daughters at the ages of 10 and 11 years old on a street corner full of gangbangers and drug dealers and watched them plant a cross and pull out a guitar and start worshiping and see these big, huge, scary men scatter. I had a guy come up to me thinking that I was a cop and pull a gun. And I reached out and said, how you doing? My name is Pastor Rudy. You would have thought that it was like the most scariest thing that he'd ever seen. He's like, whoa, you're a pastor? Oh, I don't want nothing to do with this. Like he was ready to shoot me because he thought I was a cop. But as soon as I introduced myself as a pastor, he wanted to turn and run. So for me, it's like a different type of authority that comes in a freedom.
Right.
That you can't kill a dead man. You can't kill a dead man.
There you go.
Right? I died in my sin and I'm alive with Christ. And there's nothing that anybody can do to put me away. Because I'm going to live forever.
I heard that. Well, there you go, Pastor Rudy. What a great way to end it all. Thank you so much.
God
and I was
you.
going to have Lori stand behind you, but while you were speaking, I was instructed to, bye-bye. I'll come. I was just kidding. Lori, could you come? I have a question that is just for you. Just for you. Just come. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Can I give you a hug?
Yeah. Did you clear it with him?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is Lori. And I noticed that, you're referred to as the better half and the all kinds of different things, but not, you can speak to things that no one else can as far as what happens here. And
Sure.
the question I have for you, I heard it loud and clear. I heard it loud and clear because I know it took me almost 4 decades to learn the difference, and it changed everything. Because a lot of us who have gone January, Amber, I know there's a lot of people in here and a lot of people out there. I want you to pay attention right now, because a lot of words and a lot of things come at us along this path that try to take us down, knock us down, and keep us down, make us believe that we're nothing. And I remember the one that used to get me all the time when they were talking about placing me in homes and stuff. As you get older, it's harder and harder and harder to place a kid that's getting older. They'd always say, well, he's most likely damaged. And I remember that every time I heard that, I thought of that bin at the front of the grocery store where they put all the dented cans,
Right.
and they were reduced for quick sale because it said damaged. Then one day, someone said to me, and she kind of reminds me of you. And she said, "You're not damaged. You were merely wounded, and anything wounded can heal." And the reason that this is your question, because you're the person, when Jason was saying earlier out on the at the park, that when the girls, the guys are out of the way when the girls are rescued, and you're back there, and so it's their eyes that meet with yours, and you do all this stuff with the Bibles and the little specialty things that you do. So, what? Talk about the difference between, because you see them in their freshness.
I do.
So talk about that. If you can just part the curtain, part the veil, if you can, for just a second. Just do your best at taking us inside there, just for a moment.
Well, I'm Pastor Rudy's first rescue. So that's pretty much the best way to say
What?
it.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah. So I found myself at 19 struck through a lot that people don't know. And he saw the worth in me to be loved. And so I have that
I'm sorry.
tattooed.
I was gonna wait until commercial. Y'all don't know I got this, but I can't wait. I done reached for it like 8 times. I'm going for it. Okay, go ahead.
So I have on my hand, be loved. And if I could just speak to whoever is out there that may feel that they are like that can what did you say, a damaged can in a cart?
A scratch and dent.
I just want you to know that people may have failed you, and church, I'm a pastor's wife, they have failed you, law enforcement has failed you, but I just want to lead you to the one who will never fail, and that's Jesus, and his love never fails. And so I got beloved on my hand because the Lord calls us the beloved, right? But for me, it's really important as somebody who's been through some stuff, to know that if I was to ask you to name all the people that you love, how soon would you name yourself? Like at what part?
I ain't got no problem with it. I mean, is that before I start kissing myself or after? Right, but it wasn't always like that.
It wasn't always like that.
And it's never easy.
Right.
I'll say that. It's never easy.
It's never easy.
It takes constant reminders.
Now we do love ourselves.
Yes,
it's real easy, but it takes time. And I just want to encourage you that to know that you are beloved, and that not only did Rudy see that in me, but I had to see it in myself, right? And I had to know that awesome as he is and as awesome as he treats me, the Lord loves me even more than that. And so our job is to just teach people and love them as if our lives depend on it. And so, yeah, I can speak about the goodness and mercy of God.
Uh-oh. I know. I probably have to charge my battery. But you know what? I think we look better. I do. So it's like, oh, who knew all those pores could disappear? Yeah, like that. So. Oh, and you talk about the Lord. He's like, wow, I'm taking that as a sign and not a dead battery.
Yeah.
How about you? So can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Because you have this little gentle, sweet voice and stuff.
Yeah.
But when you were inside of what you were brought out of,
yeah,
did you ever think that voice would be this again?
Oh no, I never thought I would make it past. I think when I turned 22, I couldn't believe I was alive. So yeah, most of the people in this room, I feel kind of bad because you don't know any of that. Most people out there don't know anything that I've been through because you wouldn't have recognized me, you wouldn't have known me, and now you guys just know me as this little happy pastor's wife. But
she's
yeah,
much more. She's
but
much
no,
more.
it's neat to know that yeah, God redeems and He heals, and He loves, and He loved me even at my darkest.
Yes.
And now that I have found true freedom in Him, I can't help but tell everyone about it.
Last question. Do you think that it's important? Do you see the difference? Do you see a light come on, or what happens when you share with these girls fresh out that listen, I know.
Yeah.
Because I was you.
Yeah, I've been through some stuff.
Right. So that's what you say. And do they instantly believe you?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too. I would.
I mean, I hope that they just believe that they can have hope as well. And yeah, thank you for what you do and for putting the message out there. And
Me?
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, girl.
Thank you for loving other people.
You're crazy. Thank you. Oh my gosh, getting all goofy acting. Thank you so much. Listen, you guys, we have a few more people for you to meet tonight, and we're gonna kind of like pick up the pace. I'm not even gonna show those clips, but I will post them tomorrow. The links where you can go and take a look at all the different things, and we will have some more of these people on Bathrobe Moments spread out like a nice seasoning over the next few weeks. So I promise you that. So when we return from this short break, we're going to talk to the muscle. No, not Jason. Just kidding. We're going to talk to some of the people that are trained in the warfare aspect of what it takes to go in and come out safely. We'll be right back.
When I saw you, I would lose control. Made me feel like there was no tomorrow. Should've told you that you're beautiful, but the days pass and now it's so long ago. Did you make it? Did you break free? Did you manage to be who you wanna be? Maybe somewhere you think about me too. I wonder where are you now? Wonder where are you now? Wonder where are you now? Would you know my name? Would you know it and did you feel the same? Wonder where are you now?
We're back with this little tyke, right? This is Big Mike, and he is, as you see, part of certain ministries. And there are people, and we're just trying to give you, of course, we cannot, there's no way in an hour and a half can we cover all of what it takes to just pull off one rescue. Okay, so we're going to just introduce you to some of the concepts so you can have a better understanding and see where you can do your part. So, Mike, how many missions have you been on or been a part of?
I don't know, a few. Yeah,
A few?
Yeah.
Who said that? Oh, Pastor Lori's wife. I mean, Pastor Lori. Hi, Pastor Lori's wife. So you're a pastor? You are a pastor too?
No.
Oh, you really are though, because you ministered to me. So I'm gonna give you that one. So, Mike, do you remember your first mission with Sir?
Yeah, I do. I don't know how much I can say about it.
Well, I'm just asking about you. About you had to go
absolutely.
home eventually. You had to get in the shower. You had to eat. You had to find appetite. Obviously, you did. So
Clearly,
no,
I was a 12-pound baby.
you were.
I was.
Wow.
Yeah, I was born this way.
Oh my goodness. That's a whole nother show, y'all.
Right.
So, but you see things. Jason gave an example of when you're standing by the car, and you can't prep for that. There's not a script. You're not pulling up something on your Apple Watch to say to these girls, these kids, these people. Where do you find that comfort? Those words. Where do you find that? People wouldn't expect it from a big old brawly guy.
Yeah, I mean, from my faith. I mean, we've all been lost in one way or another, right?
True that.
And so everybody's got pain, that they drives them to make decisions, and helps helps us become who we are. But for me, you know, being delivered from my own pain, you know, and trauma and stuff, and through my faith was something that empowered me to want to be able to. And all it came down to was just showing compassion to her in that moment. It wasn't like it wasn't like years of training or something. I just wanted to be compassionate to her.
But you do have years of training.
Yeah.
Retired law enforcement.
Yeah.
So you go in prepared, you know, for worst case scenarios, right? So and here's what I have for you. It's interesting how these purposeful questions are coming for people. I had my little sheet, you know me, I have my little stuff to the side. But with Lori, the thing about the damaged versus wounded, and now with you, just okay, here it is. I remember back in the heat of my addiction, I told January somebody this last night. I'll never forget it. I was in a car and I pulled over to the side and I heard God ask me, he goes, "Hey, Loren, if what I had for you, all the wonderful things I had for you required you to be willing to die for me, would you do it?" I was like, "Yeah," instantly. And he goes, "Okay, same question. I accept. If everything I had for you required you to live for me, would you do it?" 3 minutes later, he was like, "Oh, okay, I'll get back with you." Because I was like, "Wait a minute, that would mean I can't. I'd have to give up." Well, maybe I could get away with. I mean, I really was going down through my laundry list. And so I want to ask you, because that's what I was thinking of with you. You know, people say, "Aren't you afraid you're going to go in there? What if you die?" Because you do take that risk each and every time.
Yeah.
But just like the analogy that I just spoke to, the experience that I had, something tells me it's pretty similar with you. This what you do is what enables you to truly live. It's not about being afraid of dying as much as it is being willing to live. And so, is that the case? And what do you say? You have your own kids?
Yeah, I do.
So, what do you say to them when you're going out and you know, I may not? It's possible I might not come back.
I think it's always important to try to think beyond that and think about, you know, I mean, yeah, that I could go out and have a bad day, but I mean, when we go do that, somebody's already having a much worse day than we're having. And when you see something from that perspective, um, it, you know, what I mean, it would be awfully hard to your own safety in a situation where you consider that, but that's not even really. I mean, that I don't know. You got to think about a child or, you know, a young girl, young boy, whatever, and their family. I mean, you know, if you've got kids of your own and you think about them, how precious they are, and you know, like Amy talked about, the pain of being able to sleep for weeks on end, and you know, that sort of thing. I mean, can't even imagine the pain for some of these families going through. And,
No.
you know, so I mean, it's not something you really think about your own discomfort or something.
This is true. I get it. I get it. So, what about this one? Do you, when you're out and you know you're doing things in your community, things with your kids, things at school, that you know, and you see parents making stupid moves, do you tell them? Do you say, you know what? You know, you just when you see things like in the mall, you know those doors of opportunity that give these people a lot of ends. Because it's not all the clandestine stuff that everyone believes. A lot of it we've seen right here on the screen tonight is perpetrated right in the brightness of day. So when you see people making those what could be fatal mistakes, do you ever have to hold back to not run them and say, "Are you crazy?"
Yeah, I think we live in a world where everybody wants to offer up to somebody else the problem somebody else is doing, right? And tell them what they're doing wrong with, you know, masks or no masks or right turn or left turn or, you know, whatever it is. I mean, anything.
Sure.
We want to share how we're right and somebody else's opinion is wrong or whatever. But in reality, I mean, again, I go back, you know, to my faith, and it's really more of a you know, don't tell somebody about your faith, show them your faith, right? And it's kind of the same sort of thing with all of this. Don't necessarily go tell somebody the mistakes they're making. Maybe go show them better decision making. You know, whatever. Maybe you know what I mean. Try to influence people positively, and I mean, we all have an opportunity have a sphere of influence in our life.
Mhm.
And you know, if we can leave that short interaction with another human being in a positive way and make them kind of go, man, I'm really glad I had 5 minutes to you know, with that guy, or whatever it is, leave them in a better situation than that, and not always be focusing on
Mhm.
the things we think they're doing wrong,
Mhm.
or you know, whatever.
Can I ask, do you have last question?
Mhm.
When you are going out on a mission, you know, let's say it's tomorrow at 5. Do you have a
it?
process? I don't
Is it
know.
at
I'm
5?
just,
'Cause I gotta have to get ready.
I'm hypothetical here.
Okay.
So this, do you go through a routine, or is there something you do where you know you write something in a book, or you know you kiss your kids in a certain kind of way, or you speak a certain kind of prayer? Do you have something you go through,
No, not
a
so.
ritual?
Yeah, no, not for, you know, not for me. I mean, I think with a lot of this kind of stuff, it can kick off at any moment. So it's kind of just really more of a lifestyle of you know. So specifically with my kids,
Yeah.
I mean, when I was in law enforcement, I tried to live my life in a way with my kids, and they always knew that they were loved. Right, my wife always knows that she's loved, and that sort of thing. So
Where
no,
do
I
your
don't
kids think you are when you're gone on a mission?
on a mission.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they, you know, my kids are in the fight too. You know, I mean, in their own little way. You know,
Wow.
I mean, they know about it. You know, and
Right.
and you know, these girls, these kids are in my kids' prayers on a daily basis. You know, that sort of thing. I mean, they do their own thing. They do lemonade stands and stuff
To help
to
raise
make
awareness
money.
and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put up on the screen for everybody right now here. You guys know this from the Daily Show. Here come the tips. And I want you to give, if you could, last thing here, 3 tips.
Oh, I'm not the guy for tips.
Yes, you are.
No.
What do you tell your kids about being safe? Put it there.
Shooting range.
Oh,
Keep your finger off the trigger.
keep your finger off the trigger. First thing.
Don't touch a hot stove.
Don't touch a hot stove. And
Make sure the truck's in
and don't
park.
eat the last piece of chicken.
Right.
So, okay. All right. Mike, Big Mike,
Hey,
it's
bro.
a pleasure. Thanks
Sure.
for coming in and telling us all this.
Yeah,
Thanks so much. So, it takes girth to get it muscle to get a round of applause in this place. Tough room. So listen, really quickly, and then we're gonna go to break again. But before we do, we're gonna go from brawn, strong, to the meek. Christopher, come on. Because it takes a village, but it also takes all kinds. And here's probably the meekest, sweetest, quietest person I know, and he is the only person I know that drove all the way from Northwest Indiana. I was like, I told Jason when he said that Christopher's in his car, right? I was like, dang, I could have rolled with him, you know. But I think Christopher has a process, and he enjoys his peacefulness. So, Chris, I want to ask you, what was it that turned the knob, the switch in your world that said, I am going to Salt Lake City?
Well, that's the obvious. You know, just to give support. You know, because I met Rudy's family on South Pole, and I just wanted to help any way I could. And then another thought was, you know, with the autism world, and and one of the other things that I've seen is a lot of missing for autistic kids, teens,
Vulnerable autistic kids.
even adults, and some I found, some not as fortunate, and it makes you wonder how many of them are also sucked into the whole human trafficking thing, and because they don't have as much of a voice, that they're even more vulnerable to being
Exactly.
beaten in the
Oh, that's an
face.
easy target.
Yeah.
Right. So you, I know what you do with your From Autism to Artism project, and do you think you will be inspired to create some artistic pieces based on what you've learned and experienced here this weekend?
Good question.
Well, maybe I'm planting it for a reason. So would you consider it? Let us know when you have it. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. We'll be back, everybody, in just a few minutes. We're going to take a break. I'll pause for the cause. Don't go away. Phone a friend. It's still not too late. We have a few minutes left, and they're going to be great. Be right back.
When I saw you, I would lose control. Made me feel like there was no tomorrow. Should've told you that you're beautiful, but the days pass and now it's so long ago. Did you make it? Did you break free? Did you manage to be who you wanna be? Maybe somewhere you think about me too. I wonder where are you now? Wonder where are you now? Wonder where are you now? Would you know my name? Would you know it? And did you feel the same? Wonder where are you now?
We got 3 people. Hey, we're back. And I have no idea who this man sitting next to me is. I'm just kidding. What is it again?
Who are you again?
You're not on. See, I'm a slave to the notes. So
You're not on my notes.
right.
I'm Jason.
Oh, and you got a Cat John hat on. Okay. I thought mine was in bad shape.
Brandon. Yes.
I was just, but see, that's good. That means you wear it.
That's right.
Coach Chuck's looks like it's brand new. I don't know how you pulled that off, but you wear yours all the time.
Mine needs an oil change.
Mine too.
Yeah.
At least yours still has some pink in it.
Yeah.
So tell us who you are. And you're from California. You flew
We're
in.
from Washington.
Oh.
We flew in for this.
And your wife?
My wife Diana.
Hi, Diana.
Is avoiding the camera, even though she should be over here. Yeah. So no, we met Jason 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. For Cat Don's. Gala.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember that. Well, the dancer's here. Okay. And so what brought you guys, because and here's another thing, because I know I went through it.
Yeah.
Convincing my husband it was okay to get on a plane. We didn't even go on our trip to the our Mexico thing every year like we do, right? So he's like, "You're going on a plane?" And I was like, "Yeah," because I felt like, sometimes there's certain things that are just worth the risk.
Sure.
And so, I know I got my stuff. I got my basket.
Yeah.
So tell us, what was it that drew you guys to come? Because I know nobody shows up. This isn't like those events where you have event groupies.
Right.
They just show up just for the hell of it, and nothing changes. People that come to these types of events with these people, they come for a plethora of reasons. What's yours?
Well, I get interested in a lot of these projects from watching you and watching Jason. I was on the delivering end of things from the military and a couple other three-letter agencies. But an interesting thing in watching Rudy speak.
You worked for UPS?
Yes.
You did? 3-letter agency. Cute, huh? Okay.
Watching Rudy speak, what I love about listening to you, and I love about listening to other people talk about God, is that it enhances your own meaning of God when you hear it. And so even listening to him speak about how he wants to deliver love to the pimp, where my brain would reflexively go to delivering bad news to the pimp, made me very interested in this organization and this project, a lot from the standpoint of what can I offer? What can I bring to the
there it is.
To the table?
That's what I was hoping would come from all of that. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But that's an important part. Right. And people need to understand that sometimes you don't know until you go.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? Sometimes a lot of people, you talk yourself out of purpose. You know why? Follow your first mind. Why do you think second guessing is called second guessing? Because you do that after you dismiss your first thing. And your first thing is connected to the creator. Ding. If I say so myself. So I wanted you to sit here because I wanted people to see and understand that that's enough. Yeah. That reason right there is enough to get involved, to get out of your chair, get out of your seat and get on your feet, and do something. Don't point the finger over there. No, how about right here? Can we do that? So I want to thank you. You're a great example of what we all should strive to be more like. So thank you. Yeah. And I am going to switch this up, go to a commercial one time, and when you come back, you won't see me sitting here because I'm going to let somebody else take us out because I don't want to interview these two because I wouldn't have a show next week with them. So who do you think I'm going to put in the hot seat? See if you can guess. Be right back.
When I saw you, I would lose control. Made me feel like there was no tomorrow. Should've told you that you're beautiful, but the days pass and now it's so long ago. Did you make it? Did you break free? Did you manage to be who you wanna be? Maybe somewhere you think about me too. I wonder where are you now? Wonder where are you now? Wonder where are you now? Would you know my name? Would you know it? Did you feel the same? Wonder where are you now?
Over.
So you're there.
Welcome, Black. I mean, I'm Black. I mean, you missed it.
No, we're not.
We're not back. No, sorry.
Bathrobe on.
I have a less of a tan than your previous gentleman who was on here. My name is Jason Cisneros. Do these people know who I am? How do we know who's here? All right, cool. Anyway, so thank you guys all for all of your support, for being here, for being a part of this slave-free project, and listening to everybody that's amazing, all my friends, all my family that are here. And we have January, who thinks this is Bathrobe Moments.
I'm ready.
You ready?
Bathrobe right here.
Bathrobe Moments. So this is Loren Harris with Bathrobe Moments. And I got the black slapped off me somewhere along the way. So, but anyways, so I want to talk about, she was the one that helped me put this all together, and you know, had all of that stuff that goes along with setting this up, like making sure the police were there, making sure that we had microphones and music and all that kind of stuff. But also, she runs an organization called Soap to Hope, and she goes out and ministers in a different way than Pastor Rudy. You're still a preacher. You're a preacher.
That just got a little weird for me.
It did. I think so. You're a street preacher.
I'm a street warrior.
Yeah, that's right. So talk to us a little bit about why Slave Free Project and why this was interesting to you.
I don't know if it's an interest. I think it's a passion for me to be a part of bigger things that help on a bigger thing that happened to me when I was younger, and that was being trafficked. And I think when the idea came to me when you called me after your 2 a.m. in the morning thing, that you're like, I'm doing this. I'm like, well, I guess I'm just signing up, you know. And I just believe in movements that are related around sex trafficking, child trafficking, and human trafficking. I didn't have a voice for a long time. I was criminalized, dehumanized, and stigmatized by my trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
And
talk a little bit about how that happens, because I think it's interesting how they call it grooming, right? They call it grooming to kind of lessen the power or the energy behind what actually happens to these women and boys, right? These girls and these boys as they get entered into trafficking.
Well, I was a recipe for a predator already. I was sexually, physically, and mentally abused, and I was running from home, and a female found me, and she's my trafficker. Most of my abuse comes from females. And so I have a hard time with women. And she gave me a place to stay. She trafficked me, and I muled drugs for their organization that they ran on this property. And they used teenagers because we would get less of crime. So I went to prison at 16. And they groomed us in feeding us, allowing us a place to stay, offering drugs. And most of the time she would bathe me, comb my hair, feed me, and come find me. And so I
almost replaces that nuclear family that has kind of gotten weakened. Right.
Yeah, it's really hard for me to talk about because I loved her. Like I didn't have nowhere else to go.
Right.
So
and see, the power of love, like this, you've heard a lot about that from everybody that's been speaking tonight, is the power of love can be used to heal, and it can also be used to manipulate. but it's always that power of love that is the strongest tool in the tool belt of somebody who wants to coerce somebody into doing what they want.
Right. And the thing that I like about what's happening now or being and watching certain ministries is when he's sharing that somebody's looking for him.
Mm.
And I shared earlier that the only person that was looking for me was her. I always could count on her finding me. Every time I ran away from that property, every time I left that property, or every time I went into the system and came out, she would be at the front doors waiting for me. And I'm like, if this is all I have, this is my support system, then I got to be loyal to it.
Mm.
And so I continue to went back there. And that trauma, I talk about it where how does a 14 and a 13-year-old go into an abortion clinic with no parent and have 2 abortions and nobody asks what happened to you?
Right.
And where your parents, or the abuse and the marks in certain areas and the tears everywhere. Like, how do you not see a sign? And then it led me into a correction system, and then it led me into the burying my first daughter.
Mm.
So I didn't know that I was being trafficked.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
That's interesting. I mean, you and I worked together on something that was supposed to be bigger and that kind of thing. And it was interesting. One of the things that we asked, right, is who's the target? Who's the target for these organizations? Who's the target for Soap to Hope? Who's the target for Slave Free Project? Who's the target for certain ministries? Who are we going after? And one of the things that came up was, does a person who's been through trauma, does a person who's being trafficked, does a person who is in this scenario know that they're a victim, right? And that's really interesting. So if somebody's watching here and they're like, how can I get involved, to Pastor Rudy's earlier comment that real estate agents, waitresses, convicts, right? What are some of the signs that they could say, you know what, that's not right? Right? What are some of the things where they can, and then who do they call? Right? If they see you and they see some of the things that you're about to tell us, who do they reach out to?
Well, locally, like, we're the boots on the ground. Like, we're the ones that are in isolated, vulnerable, high risk environments every night of the week, doing outreach with these low end hotels, these streets, these alleys, these camps that are like recipes for predators. But a lot of these signs are actually women that are they're shattered, they're using drugs, they wear certain attire, they some of them out there actually look like the girl next door.
Mm.
And they're very beautiful, and some of them are they have a look in their eye that they're very empty, lost. The women that we meet with are definitely controlled by several substances and exploiting themselves at some point. And some of these we try to fight local trafficking, but like when we start tearing down like websites for women that are wanting to exploit or surviving, because we're an animal, so we survive anything,
right? But
we get stuck and trapped in those areas that we don't feel like there's a way out. But mostly when you start tearing down these websites, you put these women in the hands of traffickers, because now they have to look for a pimp, a trafficker, an abusive boyfriend, a partner to start selling them to have protection. And then that is the line of going into full-blown profit for the industry.
Well, and it's interesting because people drive by, they see these women on the streets. I know I've been out with Pastor Rudy several times, and he's got a picture where there was a picture up on the poster. There was a poster that said missing. Right in front of it, there was a girl who was standing there waiting to be picked up,
right,
for that deal. And you see people just driving by, and it becomes normalized, right? How do we teach people to unnormalize and to see those people as being someone who needs us to show up, right? What do you do?
Well, we do a lot of night outreach, and we took Loren last night, but we try to show up to combat this by meeting them where they're at. They're not out during the day. They're not allowed to be out during the day. They don't have the clothing to tap into resources. They don't have the self-esteem to leave the place at night being like, hey, I need resources. And most of these women, I've been called 7 times for a woman having a miscarriage in her hotel room.
Mm.
I've been called 7 times for old school syphilis that came in that is delirium and they've had to be hospitalized.
Mm.
Or we have women that have just been on a bad date and raped and they're afraid to call the police because they have warrants for their arrest. What the fuck?
Yeah.
We're not allowed to report rape now because they're afraid that they're going to get arrested.
Mm.
And so it keeps that complex trauma on top of trauma that they're never going to tap into these resources. And our organization gets to be a part of so many bridging the gap. Like we just recently, when I called you, like there was a 16-year-old that was sold for $40 a crack from her mom. And she went into the system and she was being trafficked by an old man down on North Temple. And she, her mom, the reason why the system got involved is because her mom died on the streets of Vegas just recently for prostitution. And so this 16-year-old's out there being 4 months pregnant, being trafficked by, all they knew was an old white dude.
Right.
I'm like, that's everybody in Utah that goes to church.
Right.
I'm like,
No racial undertones there. Right?
Yeah.
We had to fly Loren in here.
but we get to be a part of that gap.
Yeah.
And we found her and she was in a hotel and now she's in treatment and she has absolutely no support system. Her mom's dead, her doesn't know anybody, and she's now addicted to a substance and she's been and about ready to have her own kid. And like we get to be a part of all these organizations locally where DCFS or these women that are working with troubled youth that they know that their kids are in the system that are running. And now this girl's willing to talk about her trafficker, and then they found him in Provo living with his wife.
Mm.
And they're getting to arrest him. They were supposed to arrest him this week. But like,
yeah, so this all gets me pissed. Like I get so mad.
Right.
But so we got to advance it. I think we have a time limit here, but at the end of the day, well, you're going to be on his show the whole time, right? So, but at the end of the day, I think what people need to hear from you is, we're somebody's watching the show. They're sitting at home. They're, suburban. They're living in a city. They've got a job. They're you know that the last person.
stop taking this.
There you go.
Is that how I make money?
Yeah, that's used to. Anyway, we're gonna too soon. Yeah. So, but anyways, because what you do, and I watch, right? I sit back and I watch. I see your organization. The reason why I stand behind you, the reason why I support you, and the reason why I think you came in and decided to help with the Slave Free Project is what when somebody's out there, what do we do? Right. And I've got some things that I want to end the show with, but what do we do? And I watch you have 2 or 3 jobs. And then you get off of one of those jobs, you're putting your own money in, you're buying clean needles, you're making sure that everybody can ship in soap and shampoo and just anything for the cleanliness of these people that have been forgotten or that we walk by or that we take for granted or that we forget they're humans that are hurting and need love, right? And you do that, and then you get off of work, and then you go out and you do outreach until 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. So people that are looking for how can we get involved, how can we help, what do you tell them?
We tell them that we obviously have a Facebook page. We have a website where we have PayPal. Everything is ran solely off donations and volunteers. Nobody gets paid on my organization.
Mm.
Not a person. And most of those, the reason why we get to knock on these hotel doors is because of that hygiene pact with a personal note in there. And most of these notes are written by other women that have been exposed, exploited, addicted, lost their self-esteem, and in treatment centers they write these notes for us. And most of the hotel rooms we go in, all of our notes are all over their doors. And it's like the one thing that matters the most is like a personal note, and we try to leave a number, a line or something so they know that they matter. And that's how we crack the doors, by offering hygiene, syringe exchange, wound care, condoms. And we teach them harm reduction stuff. Even if you're going to be out there, like, use these condoms. Here's how you use it. Use it for any oral or any kind of sex. And, if you have these, and we just connect them to resources as much as we can. And most of them call.
Awesome. All right. Well, again, you can follow Loren's show next week, and I want to talk to Austin before we're done.
Austin ain't
Okay.
little.
Okay. Love you. You're the best. Cool. So what you're going to start seeing is a theme of everybody that's here. I mean, we've got a room full of people, the people that work the march. You're going to start seeing a theme that the turning point for most people is just being cared for, just showing a little bit of love, just showing a little bit of care. Where's Austin?
Oh,
Come on, man.
I'm
Come
sorry,
on.
you're hyperventilating. I'm hungry.
So his shirt says he's definitely not on drugs.
And I'm not.
Not at all. So, so your story. Just tell everybody a little bit about your story and get them up to speed on. And then I want to ask you some other questions. So,
Oh, heart. Wasn't expecting you to talk. So I was adopted from South Africa, and raised in a pretty religious family, and the reason I'm passionate about what the Slave Free Project and everything is, so I was sexually abused when I was 15, and met a guy online, and started going to his house. He was 45, and became my first. I mean, I called him my boyfriend, but for a year and a half, and didn't know, it wasn't best relationship. But I started getting introduced to drugs and met a lot of his friends, not realizing what was going on a little bit, and yeah, it took me a while to kind of break free from that trauma. So yeah.
So, and one of the things, and again, I adore you. That I watch what you do, online, and you and I could not be further apart as far as opinions on certain things, right? Like there's we have radically different views of the world.
Yeah.
And it's in it because and I came up through trauma, went through a bunch of stuff. You did too. And it's okay. Like however anybody that's watching, you couldn't find two different people. And the way that we live our lives now, the things that we believe, the things that we support, but we come together around this idea because you stepped out, you were strong enough to step out of it. And I know you still struggle with the journey. And you have come out of it, and I see you're doing different things. You do dance, you support anything that you're passionate about, whether that's BLM or whether that's fighting against whatever it is that you're passionate about, which I really respect. And that's where a lot of people lose that the connection that you can be on two different sides of the aisle and forget the humanity of the person that's across you.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think the main thing that drives me for sure. So I don't think I've been through so much pain in my life, and I feel like if I'm not able to use that for something, and I think that it's something that we have in common too.
For
and
sure.
You can have different opinions and respect the other person's opinion, and still be able to communicate and respect each other and come together on something like this. So.
And something like this is the Slave Free Project, right? Because what we're trying to do is we are fighting, not trying, we're actually doing it, is freeing people. You have found a way to free yourself with your conversation. Having a conversation with somebody on, outside of this room right here will impact somebody different than me. Right? You're going to you can have a conversation with somebody that I couldn't have. But we come together around this idea that we want to free people. We want to free people from the idea that they're not worthy, that they don't matter, that they're broken, right? That they're unredeemable, right? Those types of concepts. And you're somebody that I really highly respect, watching your journey and watching what you do and watching how you love on other people.
Thanks.
So thanks for being a part of this, brother.
Yeah.
I love you.
Appreciate it.
Oh. All right. Thanks, man. Miss Amber.
Hey.
Come on. In the hot seat.
Yeah.
Who's next?
No, you're so rude.
I know.
Okay. Got it. All right. Cool. All right. So, because we're on a time limit, introduce yourself.
And she's on the show next week.
And you're on the show next week, so you get to a full hour on Bathrobe Moments. Do you have your bathrobe all picked out?
I have his.
Have his?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I'll be borrowing it.
Yeah, I've heard that from other people. It's a thing. Okay. So tell us.
My name is Amber,
Mhm.
and I volunteer for Soap to Hope. I started volunteering with Soap to Hope because I am a trafficking survivor. I was rescued February 2016. Locally, my rescue story made the news, and that created some problems for me. Lots of embarrassment, more fear. The sheet was torn off, so there was nowhere for me to feel safe and hide in the city. Struggled for many weeks after that. I would say it was pure psychosis. Was not doing well, trying to get sober on my own with resources from Crime Victims Reparations, which hats off to them. They're trying the best they can with limited resources. It was not enough to heal me or fix any wounds. I wasn't addressing my spirituality. I wasn't reaching out to support systems. And I ended up in prison after assaulting someone else. So went to prison and just got out in 2019.
One of the things that Pastor Rudy talks, and they're so adamant about this, is that and I want people to know this, because when organizations take somebody like you, and because there's a long path of healing and getting strong and getting built, because a lot of people look at you and they go, oh, you were rescued, right? Now let's plaster her all over the news, and and there's still connections that have to be cut. And one of the things that I love about certain ministries, and Pastor Rudy and Lori and Cece and Maddie are very, very adamant about not re-victimizing the victim, right? And so you're an example of somebody who really didn't have that support system, right? And certain ministries on the back, again, 96% of people end up back in the lifestyle when they're just ripped out of that and kind of thrown, okay, now go be normal.
Yeah.
Right? And what normal is what we all think you need to be. And there's a lot there's a long path of recovery, and the record for certain ministries is exactly flipped. 96% of them that are rescued through what they do, and the healing and spiritual and the love and the caring, and there's a background. It's so crucial, right? And so if you see organizations that are out there that are taking victims and plopping them in front so that you'll cash, so that you'll send a credit card, or it's a huge red flag for the organization that you're working with, that they're about themselves, right? Because they're just re-prostituting, right? I've heard that word, and I know it's harsh, but I've heard that word used before, and I didn't realize that.
You're about to drop your gun.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, get your gun.
Get my gun before it falls off. Yeah. So, but I wanted people to hear that from you, to see that there's real ramifications. You dealt with it the best way that you had, and the best way that you could. And I just wanted you to speak to your story a little bit, so that people could see a real live example of that, and know that Slave Free Project, Soap to Hope, who I know you throw yourself into, certain ministries, everybody that's here, they love you to death.
I can feel it.
Yeah, and we want you to know that you've always got a family with us. So
thank you.
Thanks for being brave enough to say something. Love you. Thank you. Oh, Chuck.
Wait, no, he's passing.
Oh, he's passing
because the time.
Okay.
Yeah, I gave him a
So now I can see. Now we're black.
Well, these were on the counter in the bathroom, and since Bill Cosby isn't in the room, I think it's pretty safe we can eat them.
Oh, we're leaving this later.
Did you go thumbs up? Whatever. Could get real interesting.
We have just 4 minutes to close out, and I want to make sure, because
you couldn't see that, right?
You always.
I have better eyesight than you.
Well, that's good, but this is still Chicago. So I didn't even look up there. So we want to make sure that we don't miss saying thank yous oftentimes in these sorts of things. And I want to say this too, Unstoppable, Power We Symposium, all of the events that we do where, all of you come in, there's hundreds of people there, and you think that that's what it's all about. Everyone thinks that. Today is proof that it's not just about that. And with this sumo under the umbrella of the pandemic, which I refer to as the great equalizer. It's a chance, it's a choice for everyone to decide. There are only two choices in this universe, the one you make and the one you didn't. So you can talk about it or you can get off your ass and you can be about it. This room is filled with people. The park is filled with people. Now, look at yourself and say, what will I do? Not what can I do, right, Jason?
Yeah, 100%. And it always comes back. I know, and most of the people that I've met, most people that watch the show, that you're asking that question. There's always that fire inside of you that because life beats you down. COVID, and then you have the race wars, and you have COVID again, and then everybody having to wear a mask, and there's all this separation, and got to stay 6 feet away from me, and it takes away the very. Yeah, better.
I don't know what you did.
Looking, by the way.
I'm just saying.
One of us is going to get.
He's suspect.
Yeah. But the point is that there, everybody that's watching this, anybody that may hear this message, it has nothing to do with the people that were here. It's about that call. The only reason that you would watch a show or that you would be involved with us in the first place is because there's a fire inside of you that life has tried to extinguish. It's tried to put it out. You've been beaten down. You've been broke. You've been, you feel broken, and you feel lost. You feel alone. You feel unworthy. And at the end of the day, what this family is here for, what the Slave Free Project, from the heart of Pastor Rudy and his entire family, I believe the premise of it was to let the world know that they're loved, and to let people know that the more you know that you're loved, the more that you know that you're loved, the more love that you have to give. And the more love that you have to give is the only thing that's going to solve the problems that everybody sees on the news every night.
That's right. That's absolutely right. So you guys, I want to thank each and every one of you. You could have been anywhere in the universe today, but you were here with us, and that was a choice. And I want you to understand that it was the right choice. So do something with everything that you've learned here tonight to make this world a better place. I want to say thank you to Hope for Soap, CERT Ministries, Anton J, Slave Free Project, and of course, E360 TV. I'm telling you, it is such an honor to be working with people that when you say, hey, I'm thinking of going out to Salt Lake City, Utah to do this, and they say, go, and we're behind you, 1,000%. There's nothing better. I'm so grateful that God has led me to a place in my life where I'm no longer alone when it comes to the work I do. And so I just want to say, it was 2 days ago.
I want to say thank you to you.
Oh,
for flying all the way out here from Chicago.
Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah. Big round of applause. Putting all the energy. You put a lot of work into this, and I just wanted to say thank you.
You're welcome.
And I love you. And,
anytime.
And Brian,
anytime.
you're still my favorite.
I can't wait. He's dying.
You're still my favorite part of that couple.
Thank you. And I said thank you because hey,
and it's not because he's white.
You guys, and in conclusion, this is what I want to leave you with. Don't ever think that God does something and it's not for a specific reason. I was not even certain I was going to come until Jason put me on the spot on the show I did with him the other day. And he goes, well, you'll see for yourself. You'll be there. And I was like, damn, I forgot to tell him I wasn't coming.
It's called the assumptive close. We'll do an issue.
Right.
We'll do something on that.
But what happened was that very night when I was in the shower, you guys might remember this post. I posted, I said, I just got this message from God while in the shower, preparing to leave for Salt Lake City in the morning. And I'm passing it from me to you because everything he gives us, he gives it to us because it's on its way through us. We are nothing more than whistle stops. So I was told, go teach and be taught. Go bless and be blessed. Go see and be seen. I want to thank you. Join me Monday morning, 8 a.m. Central, when Ben Forster from Los Angeles will be my guest on Bathrobe Moments.
Is there a universal coin star reference here?
No. So anyway, I want to thank you all.
The reason I came here.
Excuse me, my shop. I just want to thank you guys. Seriously, I really do. God bless you. And remember, in closing, like I tell you every single morning, when you get up, go to the first reflective surface you can. If it's a window, if it's a spoon, turn it over. Find a mirror. Look at yourself. Because once you see the blessing, I guarantee you Get out there and you can be the blessing. Have a great night. Thank you for joining us.